Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Survivor's Circle for June 6th, 2023. And the topic of today I put down as Don't Look Up. The big break for this year so far in, that's not good. Why is that doing that? Anyway, the big break so far this year in the UFO community has finally stepped forward. Actually, I noticed one of these things. There was a scientist who was a biochemist from Stanford who had come out and said, yes, there are definitely ETs on Earth. Pretty straightforward. And he did so because he said that he had examined extraterrestrial materials. And I went through and looked at his background. And if the powers that be were wanting to find a candidate to examine those kinds of materials, he'd be the guy they would go shopping with. He did not himself appear to be restrained by any top secret agreements. And I thought his testimony on that was really quite interesting. This next one just broke yesterday. A couple of articles. Basically, it goes back to a couple of articles in the debrief, and I put a link in chat for that. One of them, we have two whistleblowers from coming in through Congress as whistleblowers, as far as I can tell. And they are saying they're here, and their backgrounds appear to be pretty substantial. They check, they were where they claim to have been. They were doing what they claim to have been doing when they encountered this information. They seem a little, they don't seem to want to say, I saw this. They seem to be saying, I saw information that led me to believe that this happened. And it was mostly about materials, as was Dr. Nolan's. It had to do with the recovery of extraterrestrial materials. And we don't know. I mean, we just don't know. There's little information given out here. It's quite tantalizing. And the procedures that they're going through, establishing themselves with Congress as a whistleblower to establish, number one, to establish their credibility. Number two, to get Congress on board by shaming them after a fashion, because Congress certainly claims that none of them know anything about any of this stuff. Most of them don't. I wouldn't trust most of them with my home phone number, but so yes, if the powers that be don't want to trust them with extraterrestrial secret ray weapon guns that can destroy planets, I can understand that. I wouldn't trust them with that either. So, hi, Maria. How are you today? You're still fighting your. Say hi.
Hi.
Oh,
Don't want to say much more than that. It breaks up too badly, so I give up.
okay. So I think that there's. See, I just don't. I. This is just another flash in the pan. You know, it's another. We're fish. We're fish in the pond, and they keep tossing little bits of bait in there. And every time we run up and grab it, and they yank it out, you know, they yank it out of the water. That's the way I feel, you know. I'm Charlie Brown. And I've run after the football too many times. It just doesn't seem like it's going to work anymore. The disclosure that we want, I don't think this is going to be. This seems better than the. It's a little different, but it's not different enough. And it's something that I really. It's making me think again.
Mm-hmm.
What it would take to convince me at this point. What they have disclosed so far doesn't convince me. It makes it look more like what it should look. I thought it would look like, but it's not convincing. It's not evidence. It's not knowledge. You know what I mean? It's not usable. And that is the problem for me. It would have to be, show me a gadget, show me a gizmo, you know, show me a little floating top, show me something, show me a. So far, they're not showing us it. There's no application there that I could. If I were in 1947, okay, as supposedly happened, show me a transistor, okay. Show me an integrated circuit in 1947 that I have to look at under a microscope to make any kind of sense at all. Do that, and maybe I'll be. Oh hell, I would have believed them on the face of it in 1947, but there's been so many lies and so much degradation of the information over the last 70 years. I wouldn't try. My trust is eroded away. Yeah, I know. Alice, I don't want to see the cake. I want to taste the cake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nobody has trust anymore.
No,
Anything
and
that's being said.
and for good reason. You know, we didn't pop out of the box this way. They earned our distrust. You know,
If they'd have left it alone in 47,
well, they created them.
Be now.
Yeah, they created the monster that they were afraid of. Okay, they have created the distrust in the population that was really their greatest fear. You know what I'm saying? They lost all their credibility. They put it all on the table to hide the very existence of the possibility of someone being out there. Okay? And because there were a few anthropologists on the Brookings study that said, oh no, the people will go crazy. The religions will have great, they will destroy society. I don't, I wouldn't have believed it then. Maybe, but look at what's happening in the world right now today. You know, they have created such a disclosure of another intelligent race in the universe is not anywhere near as bad as what they have created by the distrust that they have created. Okay, you can't trust anybody. You can't trust your neighbor. You can't trust what you see on TV. You can't trust what you read in the newspaper. You can't trust anything now. Okay, and I mean, you can't trust unless you can hold it in your hand. It's very hard to trust anything, and that's such a destructive situation to be in for a society. I can't think of any time in history where a people have had that happen to them. It's not just that it's not a crisis like the king is dead. It's a crisis like you find out there never was a king.
Ask the Jews about trusting their neighbors.
Let me see. Ask the Cubans. It's that kind of a world anymore. And the truth is, this is the big secret. I really think that this is like the root, the taproot of the psychosis that we live in right now. And there are several offshoots of it that and there are factions in the society that have used it, that have taken that that original deception flaw and used it to turn us against ourselves. And that's just not right. It's just not right.
Well, and that's the good question that Lorraine's got going on right there.
Yep.
Were they afraid the restructuring of society based on those new facts destroy their authority?
Well, yeah. And it would harm their bottom line. Okay? There's so many repercussions of it that, let's see, this can be part of the, thank you, Julie. This can be a part in the collapse of government systems and is part of pulling the veil back. Yes. But they obviously still fear it. They want to control it. They want to control every aspect of it. There's so many little details in this the NASA, they had a big NASA meeting. The big break, there are hints in there that catch my attention. Okay? Please come. Okay, they're asking, go ahead and you can come to us and tell your story. Okay? We'll listen now. All that means is there'll only ever be one official place to tell the story, and you'll go there, you'll tell your story, it'll be classified, and nobody else will ever have it to work with. Okay. MUFON, AppPro, all the civilian organizations that have been gathering this information for 70 years. Forget those guys. They aren't important. This is going to be the official. This is AppPro, or Arrow, or whatever the hell they want to call it. You know, and we're the official source for all your information. Just come and talk to us. That's just that makes me even more suspicious. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they should not be fired. They should not be taken off flight duty. They should not be ridiculed for
Mm-hmm.
publicly speaking about their own experiences. But that doesn't mean that the only place that you can speak is through official channels. That's a whole different ball of wax. Okay, that's a whole different gate that everything has to go through, and it won't work. They've degraded their own credibility to the point where everything that they touch stinks. You know, no matter how hard they try to be fair and open, they can't do it because they have no credibility until they actually come out with, until they come clean and try for a change for once, telling the truth. You know, release at least some of the information that you have, of the reams of information that they have already. Throw it out there. Tell the truth. It's messy. It's going to stay messy. It's going to be messy. It's going to confuse people. There are people who are going to it's going to make angry. They'll get over it. Because that's what we have to do, is get over it, get around it, get past it. Because I don't know. I can't say myself for an absolute certainty that there are ETs, and I can't say that. It has not been my experience. Would it bother me? But given the facts of the way the universe is and the size of the universe and the way that it works, I would be even more shocked if there weren't any. How the hell special do we think we are? You know? If we're not that, I don't think we're that special. I think we're just a product of a universe that is generally pretty friendly to fragile, somewhat intelligent critters.
I think I'm going to change my setup.
Okay. I'm
So
going
maybe
to.
my audio is not so odd.
Okay. Well,
Right.
I'm going to try again to, and this is a sidebar that I brought on because I brought this other thing up before. Well, everybody has. It's about suppressed inventions. The 200 mile an hour, the 200 mile per gallon carburetor. It's been a legend forever. Okay. the windmills. Windmills are quote unquote, the quote is, windmills kill birds and give me a headache. So they're terrible. That's from our previous president. Had that feeling. I'm going to bring up a topic. I hope I can play it. I'm not guaranteeing I can play it, but I'm hoping I can play it. And we'll see if we get audio. If we can get audio over there, I will just be tickled to death. And that is not a file. Let's cancel that. Present. Share screen. Share screen. And
let's zoom. So Amy worked for Bright. You were one of the first employees, right?
Yes, I was the first non-executive hired. I think there was 8 previous executives prior to me joining the company, and I did marketing and sales. And so the company started in 2008, and I think we ended with about 65 employees when the company finally folded. But
65. That's nuts. The first thing that I wanted to know when Arnie called me and was like, "Hey, you got to buy this van from me for $1,500." The first thing I was like, "How much could this thing have possibly cost to build?" Because like with concept vehicles, I know obviously it's all R&D, and then this on top of that isn't a basic vehicle. It's obviously a very expensive build. But in 2009, 2010 money, or whenever you guys finished the van, how much do you think the company had into this thing?
Well, the vehicle itself was almost $2 million of investment. Millions were raised. We raised hundreds of millions of dollars to start this automotive company. And really, we were trying to do what Tesla was doing, but for fleets. Right. So starting a whole new automotive company takes hundreds of millions of dollars. And we had an amazing executive team, all from, GM and Chrysler and just top-notch executives that had the vision and the passion to, really create this new company. And unfortunately, it didn't happen, but there was so much investment and development that went into building this vehicle. My role was to travel and interview the top 100 commercial fleets. So I would ride along with Frito-Lay at 4 o'clock in the morning and find out what did they like about their vehicles, what they didn't like about their vehicles. And I'm documenting everything and bringing it back to the engineers, and then the engineers go and make it happen.
Oh my gosh. So $2 million went into the building of the van back in 2009 money. So that's like $3 million probably to today. But does that include, 65 employees for how many years?
So Bright ended in 2012. So from 2008 to 2012.
Is this the only van in existence? Like, were there more?
So that was our first alpha vehicle that we used as a demo to, bring around to customers. It's been to Capitol Hill, right? It was all about launching the vision. And then the next round was to build the beta vehicles, which were going to be pre-sold and deployed in fleets to, get more feedback so that then for production, we were good to go.
Okay, so this is the only van though.
It is.
Wow, so everything went into this one van.
Yeah.
And it is okay. So I wrote down a list of stuff because I'm like, I don't want to forget anything. Why was it abandoned? Like it looks brand new, and then so it looks, obviously it's been stored indoors for the entire time. When you guys folded, what was supposed to happen to the van? Like, it's just so crazy that it ended up on Facebook Marketplace for $1,500. Like, what happened?
That blows my mind. It was actually donated to a nonprofit, company that was that had engineering students. It was supposed to be utilized for kind of the future and development for the state of Indiana. And unfortunately, I don't know how it ended up on Facebook Marketplace. I'm not going to lie. When I saw the video, I shedded a tear because I was like, that was $2 million of investment. That was, long hours and long flights going into developing this. We had $35 million of pre-orders from commercial fleets.
No way.
Like Comcast and Best Buy and, huge Duke Energy even invested in our company because they all saw the value of the future of electrification, and it was custom built and designed specifically for fleets, which is my background, right? And so it kills me that it was on Facebook Marketplace for $1,500. Like,
so there, what we're talking about basically is the postal vehicle that they're talking about bringing out in 2025, 6, whatever. Okay, short hauls, short stops, hybrid utility van. They had one prototyped, ready to go in 2009. They had backing. They had the engineers. They had the intelligence. They could have, in 2009, they could have picked any one of a dozen factories in the United States in order to put this into mass production. The goal of this particular vehicle was to manage to get to operate with 100 mile per gallon was their goal. And they were pretty close to it, using pretty much off-the-shelf technology at that time, and lithium-ion batteries, which were still very expensive. They're expensive now. They were quite a bit more expensive then. But this tanked. It absolutely tanked. They built the prototype. They passed it around. They shopped it around to all the companies that would have loved to have it. And it went nowhere. And this is one example of this same thing, which I have been watching happen for nearly 50 years. One of my, and I don't know if I've done it in detail on the channel, in the mid 1970s, back when Jimmy Carter was president, when they built all the windmills in California, almost all the windmills in the canyons in California, a company from Europe, Vesta, filed suit in the World Court at that time for patent and for patent infringement. And one of the things that one of the results of that suit was American wind power died. There were probably a dozen companies in the United States that made very reasonable sized electrical wind generators, wind powered electrical generators. Okay. And they all went out of business because they were restricted by that suit. I forget what, I think it was, they weren't allowed to make anything with a rotor greater than 3 feet in diameter. And that's the part that, for which there was absolutely no market at all. Okay. Since then, in the last resurgence, I don't know, when was that? The 2000s. Actually, yes, this is the time. This we can do this now because all that stuff was behind us. Okay, they finally settled out a court of Udos. And there were people in my area who were marketing mid-size electrical generators powered by wind. And the applications are there. The cost was very low. But then the state came in and said, well, you can't have a wind tower. If you have one, it has to be 1,000 feet off the property lines, which automatically eliminated like 99.9% of the possible locations, let alone just the locations that people who were interested in doing it could do. Oh, they're dangerous. The rotors can fly off and go crazy places. No, they can't. No, they can't. They had one tower that was famously self-destructed in Scotland, maybe, in fucking hurricane winds. And that was their example. The operators of that tower were if it was not, it was they were either abysmally ignorant or they were paid to intentionally sabotage it for the cameras to make it look bad. That is the point. That is what we are fighting against. We're not just fighting against, it's not just, oh, can we do that? Is that a good idea? No. It's not whether it works or not. It's whether it's whose ox is getting gored. If it is something that is going to affect their bottom line and their next quarter's dividends, it will get shut down. They've been doing this longer than I've been alive, that's for sure. And the number of examples are there are I'm sure there are more than I ever know about. And I know there are dozens of examples of really, really good ideas that got shot down for no good reason. The money disappeared. The inventor got sick. The inventor decided, the people that were involved just said, no, we don't really want to do this. If you have a choice between taking a small pot of gold or a small plot of land, most people will take the small pot of gold. That's just natural. That's human nature. I just, the world is not the world we wish it to be. So I guess the thing is, we need to change it. Yes, Jay. Glad to see you here, buddy.
Maybe this will be better.
Oh, sounds excellent. Sounds excellent.
I've got my phone over here on this side.
Very good. Nice setup.
So.
It works. That's all. That's so much better. Thank you, dear. I wish I could. I have to turn that off. So, I guess I finished my rant. I kind of ran out of steam. It's so. I ran everybody off. Oh, Oofy made it. I want to thank Goofy for bringing my attention to the two debrief articles that went up on June 5th, early in the morning, and were pulled down. Uh, as far as I can tell, one of them came back today. The other one, I'm not sure. And they did say in the new reprint that it was edited for readability. So I would like to have somebody go through those two comparisons, the one that Goofy has and the published current version, and give us a report back as to exactly what they had to change, what they changed.
Mm.
I'm going to see if I can move this around to something here that I didn't do a edit very much, but I do want to. Okay. And you're going to do that. Okay. I'm going to clip up a picture of that van from 2008, that utility van, and see, I can get this to work. Share screen. Screen. It really looks pretty conventional. It's nothing all that special, really. It's got a small four-cylinder engine. It has some of the body panels were replaced by carbon fiber. They've done a lot of work to reduce the weight, and a lot of work to make it a little more aerodynamic. But there was no reason why that couldn't have been a very successful business. So, but it died. I left at the top of the comments section. I did leave a link to that story. I found it quite fascinating. Share. Yeah, I found that very interesting. And it was such an obvious way to do it. In that same time frame, I was building electric bikes, and at that time, gas prices had taken a big spike during the Gulf War, and at one time those of us at one time it was pushing $5 a gallon here in Ohio. Okay, and then it dropped back down to $1.25. Nobody was interested in saving gas anymore, so it just died. You know. Yep. They need a good rap, Jay. Scooby Doo rap. Yeah, and I'll have to give Jay, that that van was found on Facebook Marketplace. We missed it. we could have done a hell of a job on it. It's much better than some of the projects we've worked on. I guarantee it.
Yeah, you two definitely would have had fun pulling that apart and
Oh
seeing
my
how it
God.
works.
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
I know my we'd be pulling it apart saying, well, I can do it better. I can do it better than that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Put a couple of jet engines on it and it'd be great.
Needs more power.
Exactly.
Break out the dilithium crystals.
Mm. That would be perfect.
Oh, speaking of Tesla, we were talking about Tesla. Somebody brought up about, they were talking about one of the great threats. Okay. Oh, we're going to get bombarded by asteroids. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that one that hit Tunguska.
Mm.
Well, actually, there was a story at one time that was a reflected Tesla coil beam that he had done with his Wardencraft tower.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't there. Really glad, and I'm really glad I wasn't there.
True.
But that was a problem, an error in aiming, perhaps. I don't know.
Mm.
That's enough. Okay, there's another example. A person with great ideas, great vision, but it didn't fit the paradigm. It did not fit Westinghouse's idea.
That's true. It did
Of
not.
how to make a economically profitable power system.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with that is, if you have an economic theory, if you have an economic system that only benefits the extreme top end,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then you don't get growth in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
That is where there are a million of us for every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And if it benefits us a dime,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's plowed back into the ground. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If it benefits them $10 billion, it's just there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, God knows we've had enough years. Money doesn't trickle. Yes. Uh-oh. Tesla desk coils beam. Tunguska. Employ psychic senses. We're seeing snowballs and flaming sulfur pits in a dark place.
Mm-hmm.
You've missed the target just a little bit. You're close. You're close, but I think you're a little bit too far north of that site. That's called the Pits of Hell.
Mm-hmm.
It's a collapsed gas well in Siberia.
Mm-hmm.
But that's current. It's still burning. It's been burning for a little over 40 years.
I'm gonna try to do something here. I don't know if this is going
Okay.
to work. Bill is on right now,
Ah,
and it may not work.
okay.
Because I want to show. Select tab to share. This is what I want to share. Okay. We
Not doing
can't
it.
hear. Oh,
Just isn't.
Okay. Yes. Ooh,
It-
does
red.
it look a little bit? Yes.
Oh, it's red. See it? And look at the haze. Oh my God. And you could smell like burnt something in the air. It smells like when you put a fire out with water, and you know that smell that you have, that you get? That's exactly like it's what it smells like. Like when you put out a fire, the smoke from it. But look at the haze. Look at the haze. It's insane. And this is not good for breathing. Yes, like wet ash. That's exactly what it smells like. Um, so it is not good out here. I could only imagine what it's like going to the north, closer to Canada. So I just wanted to show everybody this because it is true. Hey, Maria. Hey, what's up to everybody that could be watching? That's fine. You can share it. But like I said, you can see the haze. And that's haze that's indicative of the fire
Yes.
in Canada. And like I said, look at I don't know if you guys are catching the way the sun looks, the color of the sun. Look at that.
Reminds me of
And the smell.
the start of an eclipse, solar eclipse.
I mean, I've never experienced this from living here so many years, and obviously a fire coming from such a distance in Canada, to have this kind of effect going on. And there is air quality alerts because of this. I mean, we could walk around and you could see the haze is everywhere. I mean, obviously it's everywhere. Anywhere you look, you could smell that acrid smell. Oh my gosh.
We even have
You
air
could see
quality
the haze.
alerts down in
Look at the
Kentucky.
haze. It's everywhere. And that's not humidity because it's actually quite chilly out here. So, and obviously this is my side of my property, but you can, oh man, this is not, that's why they say people shouldn't go out to have asthma or heart disease or any pulmonary illnesses, lung disease, because this is not exactly what you want to be breathing in right now. It is the haze. Look at the haze right over the rose bush. That gives you some perspective right there. That's how you could really see haze in the air. And that is smoke. And it's so strong in the air. That's what's got me kind of freaked out. You could smell it. Like you can really tell that this is smoke, haze from a fire. It's very distinguishable. Now I'm going to see if I can get a better shot of the sun. Oh, the sun may have, oh no, it's there. It's setting, so here we go. Let's see. The color is amazing. It's like almost a blood red. I don't know if that's translating into the video. Can you smell it, Ma? You can, right? Well, it's because it's the smoke. They have really large fires going on right now in Canada. The sun looks amazing in that color. I don't know if you guys can see this color. Huh? What? Yes, the haze. Yes. The smoke is affecting us right now.
Yeah.
It's actually, I'm not even kidding. My eyes are starting to burn a little bit. My eyes are starting to get irritated from the smoke, from this. This is not good. I know I am not exaggerating. Look at the haze. That's smoke. It's amazing. And the sky is orange. Like I said, I don't know if the video is translating it well, but the sky is orange. And like, look at all that haze. So I just wanted to show everybody that quickly. And if you're in this kind of environmental setting, don't go out. It's no good for you, especially if you suffer.
Okay, well, that ended abruptly on his side. But yeah, they've been talking several days about how bad the air quality is in
Yes.
Delaware and places like that. And I wondered, of course, it's all coming further south, but I found another map this morning of all of the fires
Hmm.
in Canada compared to
Yes.
what's going on in the US, and it is incredible.
Oh
It's
my God.
like
Yes.
they're trying to destroy Canada just by setting it on fire and burning. Of course, they picked a good time of year to do that. There's a lot of
Hmm.
conspiracy theories about that. So,
Yes. Actually, was one of the things. A lot of this is second growth forest. We were you and I were talking about this last night.
mhm,
Yes, and they've replanted pine in a place where there were originally deciduous, varied forests.
right.
Okay, and everybody knows when it gets dry, the Christmas trees go up
Burn up.
like a torch. Okay, and like an oak tree will that oak tree, or heaven forbid, there are actually trees that benefit from having the underbrush
Mhm,
burned out periodically. Okay,
mhm,
so it's I'm so glad to hear you've got rain, getting some rain, Lorraine. That's very nice.
mhm.
Good. Uh, I heard also that they're getting rain in Nova Scotia. Now, whether it's enough to get the
That's
fires
good.
put out there, those were really scary.
Mhm,
They had a fire line that must have been 60 miles wide.
mhm,
You know, that's terrible. That's just terrible.
mhm.
Um, so I don't know. Which there's enough. There's too many things. So many things, and I think that's a part of it too. There's so many things going on, and that's just
Mhm.
that's the way it goes, I guess. There's so many terrible distractions. Uh, it's hard to keep balanced and focused, and when when you're just beset with hell from any corner of the globe. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, I was looking up this afternoon about the dam that got destroyed in the Ukraine
Mhm.
on the Danube. One of the dam locks. I'm assuming it wasn't like Hoover Dam. It was a low head dam there, but it was a generator, a power generating
Well,
source.
not only that, it did a lot of their crop irrigation.
Yes, yes. So, I mean, and that I guess there had been some speculation of how terrible a disaster it would be if one of those that was one of several dams were destroyed or damaged
Mhm.
in this war over there. and it will be terrible. It will be terrible.
Speaking of distractions,
Please. Ah, my eyes.
these are the wonderful things that Andy has just shared.
Thank you, Andy. That's what we needed.
Yeah.
I've seen that one. I've seen that one before.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I like it.
So that was a good distraction.
Yeah,
So-
on the dam on the Danube. I was trying to look at that from a tactical point of view. Who got hurt? Who gets hurt worse? And it seems to me it's like it's a wash. As to say, which side would have benefited the most from having that dam destroyed, and I don't know. It was Russia, because they don't live there. Yeah, okay, that's one way to look at it, or the western part of Ukraine, because the eastern part of Ukraine would be more damaged and it was in Russian-held territory. Who knows? It was. One more example of corporate think. It does me benefit this quarter. Who cares that it's going to create hell for all these other poor people for decades? It benefits me right now, this spring during my offensive, or to help me fend off an offensive. We got to get away from plutocratic thinking. We really have to take control back. There are a million of us to every one of them. And I do apologize. I'll just go back, and I'll go back to cleaning my guns.
Make sure they're unloaded first, please.
Yes, very, very, very careful that way.
Let me get it pulled up here because this is pretty funny. Oh, wait a minute. Gotta pause it. Bring it back. Okay, share. I think I hit a wrong button on that one. Present. Share screen. Share screen. Okay, I wanted to make sure that the audio was in there too. So, if there's audio to this, but anyway.
Oh, yes, there is. But it doesn't really do it justice.
So behind the story on this squirrel wants a bag of nuts that's on top of the refrigerator, and the broom fell over. So now he's trying to act like he's injured, so Mom will come and rescue him and give him. And when Mom's not paying enough attention, he repositions the broom handle.
I thought he was practicing for Walmart.
No. He's playing dead.
Oh my God. Yes.
And this goes on for like almost 2 minutes. But he can't get anybody to pay attention to him. So
Mhm. Actually, I had to watch that twice before I figured out what was going on because I had the sound turned down.
mhm,
Oh my God.
right.
I said, "Mm,
Yeah. Andy has sent me just a wonderful slew of memes in
mhm."
yeah. So anyways, I hope our video doesn't get taken down because I was sharing Bill's, but he did give permission during that. So
Yes.
hopefully
So,
that won't be removed.
yes. Yeah, I know. I I
But it
think
is
you're
amazing.
I think you are freely allowed to share short portions of other people's videos because you're promoting and you're in such you are critiquing and promoting their
Hmm.
content.
Hmm.
So sorry.
Hmm. Well, and two, I mean, the smoke up there, of course, is tremendously worse, the haze. But I mean,
Yes.
for this has been going on
Well, look, I have
for
noticed myself.
over a month that this
Yes,
has been going on.
I kept thinking a couple of weeks ago. I kept thinking. I said, who's burning leaves?
Hmm.
You know, and I thought nobody would be stupid enough to burn leaves
Hmm.
like this.
Hmm.
And I thought, oh my God, that was Manitoba burning at that time.
It's awful. Well,
Yeah.
I think whenever it first was stayed so hazy, it was just because of British Columbia, and then
Hmm.
it was coming down. Our weather pattern at that time was bringing it with
Yeah.
us. But
Yes.
this is our skies have been like this for over a month, and it's I hate that. And we talked about this too, where I live.
Hmm.
I mean, I live near a national park.
Yeah.
And if something was to happen here, I mean, as the crow flies, I'm not 3 miles from that property line.
Yeah.
So either it starts here and goes there, or starts there and comes here. I mean, I'm
Mhm. There's a lot of
as
trees.
you can
There's a lot
tell,
of trees around.
as you
Yes.
can tell, but I don't really know if you can see the haze or not
Mhm.
from where I can, but I don't know if it
Yeah.
would show up on camera or not. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been this way for a long time. So, but this afternoon when I was driving into town, as country folks say, I got to go into town.
Uh-huh.
Um, it reminded me of the beginning of a solar eclipse, the color of the sky and the way that the sun
Uh-huh.
looks. So, or the way that the daylight looks, and
Mhm.
which we've got one of those coming up. Is it next year?
Next year, in April of next year.
Hmm. I think where I'm at right now, it would be at 75%. So I think I need to plan a trip westward,
Yes.
which
Good
I
idea.
should have done that 7 years ago when the other,
Mhm.
or 6 years ago, whenever the eclipse hit here, which was amazing. If you've
Yes.
never seen a total solar eclipse before in person,
Hmm.
it's incredible to listen to the animals,
Oh, yes.
to
Yes.
listen to
And that's
nature and how that reacts. It's pretty impressive. Oh, well, let's see. Andy is loading me up again, so let's see what's going on. Oh yeah, Skanky Barbie. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to show that one. Nope.
oh,
Yeah. So
mm,
so now everybody's asleep.
or laughed or ran away. Either I. Oh no!
Mm-hmm.
Doom and destruction is upon us.
Mm-hmm.
No, no. When you think about it, with very few exceptions, um, all this stuff is distractive bullshit. It really doesn't change things to us individually that much today, tomorrow, or the next day. But because right now we have the ability, if we take the time, if we have the time, fortunately, I have the time now to look at this stuff in depth. It's not freaking rocket science to figure out what they're doing. Okay. It's rocket science sometimes to figure out why they're doing what they're doing, but to figure out what they're actually doing, that's not hard at all. And all we have to do is stop. And that's the hard part.
Oh, we're going to stop, all right. They're going to stop us. They're going to put a halt to everything any kind of like. They already have. I mean, I can't imagine my grandfather living in this crap.
Oh, okay.
The stuff that they're shoving down our children's throats in school, even the stuff they tried to shove down our throats when we were in school. I mean, it's ridiculous. If it's the agenda and this is what they've been working for, I don't understand why.
Why? You don't understand. You don't understand why? They like compliant slaves?
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this transgender shit. This
because
Black Lives Matters shit.
Because it works.
Antifa
because
stuff.
It works.
Well, just trying to make the country split apart.
Yes, it works.
Doesn't go towards what I'm trying to relate here.
Okay. Split it, but that's the whole point, is to keep us split. Because if we get together and forget about this piddling bullshit, okay?
But it's not. Okay, so this is what I'm getting at.
If we get together and start comparing notes, we realize
doing that
you're
already.
Playing us.
We were doing that already, but they were passing laws that we couldn't do anything about. Pork. They're doing it anyway. It doesn't matter if they throw out all this piddly shit. They're doing it anyway. It doesn't matter. We've had this discussion. Whether we've got these distractions or not, the news doesn't report on actually what's going on. Nobody is actually told what is happening until it's already happened. Because everybody wants to just live their life and be left alone. So therefore, they're doing whatever they want to do. And then now we're all going, holy shit, what's just happened? We're having rolling blackouts.
Yes.
In flyover country, we've never had that before.
No.
So all of that is happening. Now they're trying to shove this electrical shit down our throats, and we can't even support what we've got because they have been too busy listening to the United Nations on, oh, you need to clean your country up, but then China can vomit nuclear waste anywhere they want to.
They want to have electric cars that cost $200,000 a pop, and they get to ride in them from mansion to mansion. They don't want us on anything except our bare feet.
But see, that's the thing. That can't happen.
Yes, it can.
There's too many of us and not enough of them.
Well, if we don't get off our ass, if we don't get off our ass and do something about it, there's going to be 500 million of us in the United States on our bare feet.
Well, okay. So we've had this discussion before too. Anyway, here we go. Get it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I didn't know if you got that joke or not. But anyway. This is the stuff that drives me crazy that the media is like constantly showing. But
so is that a green motorcycle?
it looks like a rainbow one to me. It's got green on it. Ask it, does the horn blow or is it the driver? Which one?
Ooh.
Which one? Good night, Lorraine. Thank you for
stopping in. Be safe. Stay out of the smoke. Well, the bad smoke.
She's got rain coming, so good for her.
So let's see. Gosh. Where were we with it? Yeah, that looked really terrible at Bill's. That's certainly not his ordinary sky.
It's not anybody's ordinary sky for sure.
No, that's for sure. See,
ooh, are they going to tax Mother Nature for the CO2, the carbon emissions that's happening? Is this going to be Canada's fault?
I think they'll have to blame Canada altogether.
Oh, we always do that anyway.
Just they'll take away like a few $100 billion of their carbon credits and give them to India or something. You know, I don't know how they, or sell them to China. Sell all their carbon credits to China, so they'll have to shut down even more industries in. Well, they'll make it so Canada can't chop down a tree for the next 25 years.
They're not going to have a damn tree to chop down.
Well, there's that.
Maybe we can sell them ours.
Yeah, okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah, for $100 a board foot. No. And people thought the price of lumber got pretty high back during COVID. You know, when you were paying.
Well, if it's all pines up there, we don't build our houses with that anyway, so we're good. But they'll make an excuse.
Yeah.
They'll make an excuse.
Wood's wood to the stock market.
COVID drove up the lumber prices before, so I guess now we're going to have to ship all of our stuff to Canada. Wonder if Home Depot and Lowe's are on their way there now with lumber.
Probably.
Fuel the fire.
Yeah. Or they're flying up 20 million pine seedlings to restart the forests of Canada.
What is it? Mount St. Helens, whenever it exploded, and then it wasn't long after that, it was already starting to green up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's already kind of, so kind of think nature takes care of itself, and we just need to leave it the hell alone.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, get rid of the United Nations. That's kind of my thought, but anyway.
I know this thing that back when I was a kid, after they harvested the corn in our field, small field, okay, they burned it. They burn it right there in place. And that biochar went, and those minerals went right back into the soil, right where you grew it. So the soil after a fire is particularly adaptable and available for regrowth to take place. But gosh, that's a lot of trees. I have no idea. I have no I have no idea. That's got to be a lot of trees, a lot of thousands and thousands, or maybe hundreds of thousands of acres up in smoke. I just, it's just too big for my head. Then we've got, yeah, yeah, there's not going to, it's just not going to be much Canadian lumber this year, I think. I do not know historically. I certainly in my lifetime I've never seen anything like this, but I don't know. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't know if it was. I think it's that dry. Apparently, it's that dry, but it just seems like it's got to be something more than that. I don't know. Yes. Oh, knock on wood. Yes, we can go with that. Did look through?
The laptop was dying. Sorry, I had to go get a power
Okay.
cord. Yeah.
Chat's
Comments are
getting
pretty.
Chat's getting rowdy.
Venus showed up.
Lovely,
She stirred them up.
lovely hardwood you got there, Mister.
Mhm.
Yeah. You wouldn't want it. You wouldn't want anything to happen to it.
No, not at all. Oh, Andy's still sending me stuff. Let's see what's going on over here.
Yeah.
Plenty. Just don't think I can show all of them. Yeah.
Oh, come on. He hasn't said something worth using, worth getting a laugh out of.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see. We'll see.
Go back to Skanky Barbie if they have to.
Oh, Andy, I can't show that one. That one's awful. This one I can. Let's see. That's actually me. The TV can go off, and buddy, I'm
Oh,
wide
yeah.
awake.
Yep. Yes.
I don't have a clue what that is, but anyway. So other than that, I hope everybody was entertained this evening.
Yeah.
Informed, I guess you could say.
Just
More
kicked
information out there.
Down, kicked it down.
Come here. Come
See,
on. Come on.
Everybody's saying that this new display, it's just another distraction, but it's just another distraction.
Well, I had my opinion on that one, and it's another Lou Elizondo type crap.
Tom DeLonge to Elizondo to who is it? Grush, whatever this new whistleblower's name is.
Yeah.
You know, from one to the other, they don't change what they're doing. They just change they trot out a new face and think, oh, this time they'll believe it. They'll work for a while. They don't understand.
Mm-mm.
I mean, apparently in some fashion, it works. It gets what they want. They control. If they're out there doing this, if we're looking at that, they're controlling the narrative,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they really want to do, is control the narrative.
Right.
And every fucking body in the fucking world knows that it's just bullshit, just more bullshit.
Right.
Until it's not, and they're not going to let it be anything but. It's not going to happen. So, if we want any of this stuff to happen,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna have to do it ourselves.
Right. Goofy. The cat's name is Alf. No.
Oh. Or Alf.
Mm-hmm. How many people really remember that show?
Didn't Alf eat cats?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I think everybody but Venus is old enough in chat to remember the show Alf. I think Venus is our young gun.
I am not going to see if I'm not going to speculate if there was a pun in Alf's dietary habits.
Oh, I'm sure there was. That show went on for quite a while. I mean, it was cute at first, but then I quit watching it, and Marcos put something about Mr. Belvedere. I wasn't interested in that show. And it probably, if I watched it now, I would probably be more entertained with it.
Mm-hmm. So many of those in the, I don't know, those were late 80s shows.
Mm-hmm.
I was severely distracted when those were on the air.
Oh yeah. Yeah, think?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was working nights making a living,
Yeah, I was still in
working days and nights making a living. So
yeah, I was still in school.
Yeah. Oh my God. What was? I have a hard time remembering what was on TV. I guess there were some that were pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Amos and Andy. Back in
Laurel and Hardy.
The Three Stooges. Yes.
Oh gosh, what was Laurel and Hardy? But what was
Abbott and Costello?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. When they met up with the Three Stooges, man, it just went insane. It went
Yes.
offline.
Yes. Mhm.
That was pretty fun. I remember that.
Mm.
Yeah, we watched that, and always the Three Stooges, always the Shirley Temple movies. I watched a whole bunch of them. Um, that that was before cable. We had antenna. That's
Yep,
all we could
for
watch.
sure.
Hmm.
I'm
That
trying
was
to
the
think.
best stuff.
Mhm.
See, Burns and Allen. I don't remember that one.
Some of those I have looked up on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
because they were funny.
Working
They
for
really
me.
were funny. And that's one of those
Lord.
things where so many things that say in the 70s that were funny then,
Mm-hmm.
they aren't funny if you read them right now, if you watch them right now.
So, but when you said that, right, whenever I clicked onto my browser tab to get on to
Uh
StreamYard, there was a news article that popped up and said something
huh.
about famous songs in the
Yes.
80s.
Okay.
There's no way that they would play them on the radio now. But also, the the radio stations that you listen to are kind of like the mainstream media. It's fed to you what they want you to listen to. So, but if you
Okay.
get satellite radio or had MTV back
Yes.
in the day, you
Hmm.
were hearing, seeing music that you were not exposed to on your normal radio station.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I can
What is
remember
it?
I saw a meme not too long ago about something about Pepe Le Pew, that it's
Hmm.
offensive the way that was during that
Oh my God.
Me
Yes.
Too bullshit, but was like the number one. It's like, okay, well, I'm glad that they saved us from Pepe Le Pew. Meanwhile, my child is setting hookers on fire playing Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Yes. What was the? What was I going to think? Lost it. Lost that. God. Lost my train of thought there.
That
Went
was that
right off
because
the tracks
somebody was,
into the
yeah,
lake.
oh, about setting hookers on fire, or the part that Charles was growing up in the 20s with silent movies.
Ooh. Yes, but the music was damn good.
Yeah,
The
they
sheet
were.
music, the sheet music,
Yeah, it really was.
jazz piano, and the sheet music.
Oh, Oofy back in the day weren't the DJs, the social influencers. They were.
Absolutely, they were.
Wolfman Jack. That's one I
Yes,
can definitely
and
remember.
local radio
Your local
stations. Yeah,
Casey.
radio, local radio personalities was a thing up into the 90s.
Mhm. Casey
Okay,
Kasem's top 10
sure.
or
Right.
top 20 or whatever. But I can, that was big when I was growing up, and I can remember in the 90s, and I heard him announce the name of a song that I never
Uh-huh.
thought the words would ever come out of his mouth, and I'm like, you know what, Casey Kasem's done. And I can't remember, but it was like something about drugs or something. I can't remember. Was in the title of it, and I was like, he just no, bless his heart, he's done. And that's like Dick Clark.
Hmm.
To see, I mean, we all watched American Bandstand, and we all watched Soul Train.
Yeah.
But it's like to see Dick Clark and all those people that are on that show that was dancing, and then Dick Clark trying to live 2 generations later and still be on
Yes.
air. Nope. That wasn't gonna happen.
No. Yes. It's
Well, that was a face of
A different world.
innocence. Casey Kasem and things like that. That was a face of innocence. And when you throw it into now, it just wasn't the same.
Yes. What was the song? Oh God.
Bobby should know
can't
this.
I can't remember. There was a song about being a radio hero. Okay,
Hmm.
I go or a local station TV star,
Hmm.
like all the Saturday morning hosts. Okay, that
Hmm.
would go out and do public appearances in the neighborhood. Okay, in the
Hmm.
neighborhoods, and that doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
Okay,
Hmm.
there is no public access local TV anymore. Of course, we're doing it, kind
Hmm.
of, you know, but not like it was. There was not a community. Those were those were an important part of the lifeblood of the community.
Hmm.
You know, they brought people together,
Hmm.
and we don't have that anymore,
Right. Nope.
and that's too bad. Okay. Goodbye, V. Have a nice evening. I think.
Good Lord. Hmm. I unplugged it. Sorry.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I yeah. Like I say, I think I started out too hard today and burned out early. I burned all that emotional energy out on the first story.
Maybe you'll sleep good tonight.
I doubt it. and now the fan's on, and I'm smelling smoke. I do not think it's psychosomatic, but I swear I'm
You
smelling
know,
smoke.
the last time that I can remember this happening, it was the
Mhm.
fires in Georgia. I think it was Florida moved up
Okay.
into Georgia, and I can remember that smell of smoke in the air, and I was like,
Hmm.
how can anybody be outside and work in that? I mean,
Oh
the
yes.
smell is one thing,
Hmm.
but it's you're breathing that in, and so
Yes.
people that have breathing problems and stuff, I just well, even if you didn't have breathing problems, if you're outside working in that, I mean, it's
Oh,
you're
absolutely.
gonna have breathing problems outside
Mm.
for
Yep.
sure. Um, but I don't know. I just getting old. I just sit here and I'm like, God, I'm
Yeah,
getting
really.
old.
It's
Not as old as
terrible.
you.
Oh my God, it's
God, I'm not as
terrible.
old as you. That's for sure.
Mhm.
I might not make it to your age. You know what? You got to think about that stuff.
I never expected to make it this far. That's for damn sure.
We never do. We never do.
Oh my God.
We never think about that. And that's okay.
Yep.
Everybody thinks they're always going to, like, I don't want to live as old as my grandmother or my mom. Good Lord.
Uh-huh.
They were in their 90s.
You've
I'm
got
just,
something. You've got some time ahead of you yet. There
ugh.
was no one. There's no one in. Well, okay, my sister, I had one aunt that lived to be in her 90s,
Hmm.
but my grandmother died in her late 60s,
Hmm.
and my grandfather died. They're all. I got a whole bunch of short timers in the background.
Oh, yeah. My
Yeah.
dad lived. He was in his 80s when he passed away.
Hmm.
Um, he had a brother that passed away, younger brother, no,
Uh-huh.
older brother that passed away, but he wasn't in his 80s.
Hmm.
I'm trying to think. He had a sister that was in her 90s when she passed away, and he's got another sister that's still alive. And I'm telling you something, the meaner you are, the longer you're going to
Oh.
freaking live.
Hmm.
Proven.
There was
Uh,
something.
on
Yeah.
his side of the
Yeah.
family, anyway. Now, my grandmother lived to
That
be
reminds.
96, and she was not mean at all. At all.
Okay.
She ever. But anyway.
I'm trying to think. Yeah. Well, sometimes there are things when you get old. Damn it, you get mean and crotchety.
Well, shit,
keep
I'm
off,
telling you.
keep off my lawn.
No, I'm telling you, man, when you get to be the age, and what was it? It wasn't called racism, it was called ageism.
Yes.
When you look at an older person and you
Hmm.
automatically have disgust or disdain or blow them off or whatever, and
Yeah.
that person has lived through more than you could ever imagine. And when they get to that age and they're still healthy and still kind of have their mind with them,
Hmm.
those people are the best people in the world to talk to.
Yes.
When they talk about their childhood and the things that they
There
used
are
to do.
there are so many of those people that I ignored
Hmm.
when I had the opportunity.
Hmm.
That I'm far more appreciative of those old people that made it
Hmm.
now,
Oh yeah.
and not necessarily people who were my peers, older people.
Hmm.
Okay, so much more appreciative now than I ever for the past say 20 years or so than I ever was when I was of an age that I could have probably utilized some of
Hmm.
that wisdom that they were trying to give me.
Well, and two, you think about it, it's a different time. It's like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
when you went to school and you learned how to do math, and
Hmm.
then
Oh
your
my
child
God.
goes to school and learns to do math, and it's completely different. It's the same, but you have to do it a different way than what they have to do it a different way than what you had to do when you were in school.
Yes.
So,
Actually, that was probably one of my first awakenings toward. God damn it! They're trying to make us even more stupid than we naturally are.
yeah, they're
Because
doing a really good job with that now.
if you're numerically illiterate, there's
Hmm.
not that much difference between being book, you know, unable to read
Hmm.
if you're unable to figure. You know,
Right.
if you're and damn it, that I hated. I absolutely hated and detested that stuff.
Hmm.
The new math as it
I'm glad
was
I didn't have to deal
being
with that.
introduced at that time.
So glad
No,
I don't
I
have to deal
couldn't.
with that.
No, I dealt with that when my son was coming up and said,
Hmm.
"Forget this shit. It's worthless. Here, I'll show you how to really do it."
I was trying to think when my son was in high school and he was doing algebra and he ran into something and he's
Mhm.
like, "Can you help me?" And I was like, "I can try, but I can tell you the way that they want you to show it isn't the way that I learned it. But
Yeah,
we'll work through it and I'll show you how I get to that. And then you can tell me if that's how your teachers want you to
acceptable.
show it."
Yes.
And I went through it and he looked at me and he's like, "I didn't think about that." And I thought, oh God, I have just fucked him up
Oh,
in more ways than just, we
yes.
already, than math. But no, I mean, he did really good in school. So, and
Hmm.
it was easy for him. It was very easy for him, which was wonderful. But,
Hmm.
and I think, yeah, he did school very easily. So I didn't, at least I didn't screw him up on that part.
Yes. Yes, but you were a demonstration to him that well, there's more than one way to do this.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
did I send you those pictures of the baby?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Like
All
father,
right.
like daughter, like father, like daughter.
Was it a long time ago? Oh yeah, here we go. That was quite a while ago.
No, not really.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna have to. No, yeah, you're right. You're there.
Mm,
So I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna brag, and then I'll.
okay. We'll,
My son's a firefighter.
we'll send these people on their merry way.
Yeah. Get to this. So this was Father's Day present that my daughter-in-law came up with. She was actually able to replicate a firefighter's costume for him for Father's Day. And then when she took this picture, she was able to Photoshop everything. So,
the
anyways.
the fire and the smoke.
Mm-hmm. And
Very
so,
nice.
yeah. So, she caved and gave it to him early because she was so excited that she actually found. I mean, she found one person to make the T-shirt she was wearing, and then
Mhm.
had to go through another company for the costume for the
Oh,
firefighter's
that
costume.
very nice.
So
Very
yeah.
nice.
And on my Facebook page, good Lord, that's the funny part. The fire department used my son as a model to show how much
Oh.
their uniforms and adds weight to them, plus the
Mhm.
tools that they have to carry, the airbags and
Mhm.
everything else. And all you can see is his Mario mustache that he has grown. I'm good with a mustache, but he even uses. I mean, he turns it up.
Oh, the
He
handlebar wax.
yes, he even
Yes.
uses the handlebar wax. Yes, has it in his vehicle, has it at home, has it at the fire station. Just anytime it needs to be sharpened up. It just cracks me up. But anyway,
Oh Lord.
if I could catch him asleep, it'd be gone.
Snip.
Just the handle parts.
Yeah, okay. Oh well.
So, but anyway,
The Samson treatment.
yes, exactly.
Well, to all of you who have hung around with us, we made it past 8 o'clock. And
Yeah.
that's good. We've tried to make the day a little brighter, even burning through the haze of the burning forests. So if we've managed, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
If we've made things a little more thoughtful, that's good. And if you come back and see us next week, that's good too. So say good night, Maria.
Good night, Maria.